Hello and welcome to the Record Club, brought to you by Record Store Day, the official charts, and National Album Day, and proudly in association with Bowers and Wilkins. My name is Jess Izzat. Thank you so much for joining us. We are very excited to say that tonight's episode is a Record Store Day special, and our guests this evening are Blondie to talk all about their limited edition EP release, Sunday Girl, available from all your local record stores this Saturday. Of April, which is not only Record Store Day, but it is also their 15th anniversary of Record Store Day, so it's huge. If you are new to the Record Club, we're going to be spending the next 25 minutes talking to Debbie and Chris from Blondie all about the new EP. Well, the newly released EP, limited edition EP, and then we'll be putting your questions forward to them to answer. So if there is anything you would like to know about this special release, drop us a question in the comments section below, and I'll be asking a selection of them in the second half of our chat. And on top of that, one lucky person who sends in a question today will be randomly selected to win a pair of Bowers & Wilkins PX7 over-ear noise-cancelling headphones, which are very, very good. Loved listening to all of Blondie's tunes in them, so don't miss out. Get your questions to us. Let's get straight into this week's Record Club and say a big hello to Debbie and Harry from Blondie. How's it going? Debbie and Chris from Blondie.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, how are we doing? Debbie and Harry, like it's two different people. Right, we are across the world right now. Chris Stein, you are in New York, aren't you? How are you faring over there?
It's nice weather. The winter is allegedly over, but it keeps getting chilly. I just couldn't, I'm sorry to disappoint the fans, and I'm sorry to disappoint Debbie about not coming out on tour during this bunch of shows, but I have a heart condition and it's kind of fatiguing, and I hate airports and hotels, and that's, but yeah, I'm sorry to disappoint, but I have a replacement.
I think you can be forgiven because you've joined us now, so thank you. And Debbie, whereabouts are you at the moment? You're in London, right?
I was earlier today, but now I'm in Glasgow.
Okay. Moving around. Do you have a favorite place in the UK?
I don't know if I have one favorite place. There are a lot of really interesting and beautiful places, and the variety is always exciting. We haven't been over here for a while, no travel, but I think I love London because I have more friends there. But I think Glasgow is a pretty great place. We always have great times here, and the audiences are spectacular.
Do you guys have a favorite place to eat in London?
Oh, no, I don't think I'm much of a. I've been to a lot of great places, but I don't know if I have any one particular one. I think the one that stands out right now in my mind was a place in Kensington, a Japanese place that was unbelievable.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah.
I love Japanese cuisine. I literally had sushi yesterday, so I'm a big fan. We have we actually start the Record Club officially with a question from one of the many amazing independent record stores across the UK. And this week's question comes from Tallbird Records in Chesterfield, which is in Derbyshire, just looked up. Maria from Tallbird is asking, is it true that Sunday Girl is actually a song about a cat? And why did you choose to sing a part of it in French?
It is about a cat, yes.
Yes, in part about a cat. Debbie had this really great cat named Sunday Man. He ran away when we were on tour. He was staying with her sister, and we were very sad and were in mourning for days over his departure. But we later got word that he might have been seen in the neighborhood, so he might have been okay. He was self-sufficient. It's also a little bit of a reference to Georgie Girl, the old song which escapes me. who did that. So long as the genesis of the song is kind of involved.
What was the cat like?
What's
He
the
was
cat like? Go ahead.
he was great. He was nice. He was a foodie. He was the biggest of the three cats.
Oh,
Well,
cats are kind of like that. They're like, if you go on tour, if they're like, if you leave me, then I'm going to leave you. So I kind of feel like that.
Maybe, yeah.
I don't think he liked living with my sister, especially. And he went off, and I think he found his own, new, I don't know, his new owner, his new situation, and so he was very resourceful. Yeah, all of them actually were very resourceful. Daniel used to go downstairs and hang out with one of our neighbors. He had two places to live.
Well, they all
So,
saved our lives on the Bowery too. I mean, it's kind of a longer story, but
yeah,
that one night, when the pilot light went out on the boiler where we were staying, and the whole loft was flooded with fumes from the oil heater, they woke us up.
yeah.
And it was a scary moment.
That's so good that so your cats actually saved your lives as well.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
could, yeah.
Definitely. Yeah.
Well, that's good of the so Sunday Man and Daniel, and who was the other?
Vermeer.
All right. The
Real name was Vermeer, but he was called Gregor. Yeah.
Gregor. You called her Gray Girl, right?
Yeah, Gray Girl. Yeah.
Yes, I used to call her Gregor, but
Yeah.
like the
So you had Sunday Man, Grey Girl, and then Daniel.
Daniel. Daniel was the leader.
I'm obsessed with that. All right, Maria from Tallbird, thank you so much for your question. She also wanted to let you guys know that Parallel Lines is her all-time favorite album, and she's had a framed copy of the sleeve on the wall of Tallbird Records since they opened over 8 years ago. So pride of place.
Thank you for
wow.
your support.
Yeah, very, very happy to hear that. Very nice. Thank you.
So obviously we've got this limited edition Sunday Girl EP getting re-released into the world this Saturday. Why Sunday Girl?
Right, the timing must be a certain finite amount of years since it was released. It's a nice track. People like it. Went to #1, if I remember correctly, in the UK.
I think it's a beautiful piece of music. You know, I think it got compared once to some symphonic piece in a review. Do you remember that, Chris?
No, I don't know. Maybe.
No,
We get compared to a lot of stuff over the
it
years.
was well thought of, yeah. And as we just spoke about, there's so many layers of involvement in our lives, and Sunday Girl also, because we did it in 2 languages, or tried to do it in 2 languages.
Why the French? Why did we? You just thought it sounded cool in French.
I loved it. Yeah, I just loved the way it sounded. Yeah.
And there's a complete French version floating around
Yeah.
somewhere too.
Oh, I feel like I don't speak French, fluent French, so I haven't delved into that one, but I guess I'd know the translation anyway, wouldn't I? Because of Sunday Girl. Yeah, why French? Was there were you maybe going to pick another language, or was French always top?
I just thought it was so beautiful, and that the song was beautiful, and that it was ultimately very compatible. And I think that the lyric is sort of dreamy, and I don't know. So I somehow or other in my wee little brain, I thought that they would go together well.
I think it was around that time that we discovered that Frankie Alamo had done a version of Denis Denis, which is the old song that we had our early hit with in the UK,
Yeah.
and in French, which was called Sylvie. Sylvie, about Sylvie Vartan, the actress. Uh, all of that came into play, I think.
Yeah.
So inspired by them doing French versions as well.
Yeah. I mean that this is sort of the way we were traveling so much in those days, and coming under a lot of different influences, and sort of finding our way through the industry and through the world, and it's just the way it turned out.
So this release actually comes as part of Record Store Day's 15th anniversary. So I was just kind of wondering, what was the age of 15 like for you? Because for me, musically, it was a big thing. It was when I think I was taking my first steps into discovering music myself. So what was a 15-year-old Chris Stein and a 15-year-old Debbie Harry listening to?
Bob Dylan, Joni Mitchell, folk music. I was just, coming from the folk music into the rock and roll world. They were started to mesh a little bit.
Mm. I think for me it was because I'm older than Chris, and it's hard for me to remember. But if I were to look at a list, I think it was probably Beach Boys, and some of the guitar, the guitar-y kind of sounds, and
Ventures.
huh?
Ventures.
Yeah, the Ventures. Yeah, yeah.
Do you
And
think you guys know at that age that you would be getting into music? I guess no one could really dream about how successful Blondie would be back then, but do you reckon you kind of knew that that's what you were going to be doing?
A little. I was, had already been playing guitar and was starting to jam with my friends and do all that kind of stuff. So, somewhat.
yeah.
Remember, at home, you guys can ask your own questions as well. I can see that there are already some coming through. We are here for a Record Store Day special, and obviously, Blondie have their limited edition EP of Sunday Girl coming this Saturday. Can you
And
talk to me about the tracks that you have? Because there are some exclusive tracks that you're releasing on this.
the early demo version, which I think is super high pitched vocal, if that's the one I'm thinking of. I think we must have lowered it even for the initial recording. But the song was. I never actually wrote. When I say I wrote songs, there's never any real writing involved. It was just always recording and working with tape recorders. So the song was done on a 4-track TAC reel-to-reel tape recorder, and I would overdub myself. And it's kind of it was. I've always been very much into like roots music and world music, and I was listening to a lot of calypso at the time, a lot of Mighty Sparrow and stuff like that, and it came out of that, the melody line. The melody line is probably first. Sometimes when I write stuff, I will do a groove first, or vibe, and then melody line is invented on top of that. But this Sunday Girl, that definitely was the melody line was the first thing that showed up.
And also, I've seen that it's going to be set on red and yellow vinyl. Did you have a hand in that?
Back in the old days, I always thought somebody should make a record that was made out of C4, like plastic explosive, and then the last note on the record would trigger it, and then it would explode your record player. But I don't know if in these days, at this day and age, I don't know if
I think I'd
that
be a bit upset if that happened, I'll be
yeah,
honest.
well, it would be a moment. You'd certainly remember it.
Well, just want to make it more special. I mean, there's also a live version of Sunday Girl on the release, and from the Paramount Theater in Portland, Oregon, in 1979. I can barely remember.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
It must feel a bit like a trip down memory lane. Like, you know, when you're having to go through and make these decisions again, like when you revisit the music, does it bring back strong memories? Because I always say that music is probably the closest thing that we can get to a time machine.
Yeah, yeah, sure. Stuff. I was, you hear the old songs, whatever you were listening to at a given point will bring back associations. Yeah, I'm always susceptible to that.
Well, when Chris mentioned, the Mighty Sparrow, she was not, sort of a popular artist, but there have been artists like that we have both, zeroed in on without knowing that each other liked this particular artist, and that the Mighty Sparrow was one of these people. So, that I think that's why we ended up working together so easily.
At the time, was your kind of way of discovering music, was it going and seeing people live, or did you go to like record stores as well? What was your way?
Yeah, all of that stuff. I mean, all our friends, the whole New York music scene was just its own thing. So everybody knew each other and were kind of waiting for each other to make records, all that stuff. But I was always on the hunt for weird stuff and different things.
I
Record stores,
rem-
yeah, record stores were an important part of everything.
I feel like New York is so cool for that.
One. I'm sorry, I interrupted.
I was just commenting. I feel like New York's just so cool for music. So like the fact that you guys were there, like pioneering in the 70s, is very, very cool.
Well, when I was, probably 15 or something like that, there was, the town next to where I lived was a bigger town. It was a sort of a shopping town in an small industrial city. And there was a record store there that was sort of like the size of a closet. It was a very tiny place. And mostly they sold the old 45s,
Yeah.
with the big hole in the middle.
When we grew up, there were really no record stores.
Yeah.
But, you'd go to a hobby shop or something like that, or a greeting card store, and they would have a section of records. And there were probably always record stores in Manhattan. But where I was in Brooklyn, I would buy 45s at a greeting card store. It was a different situation.
Yeah. Wow. I can see that lots of people are actually getting their questions to us, so I feel like we should get into it. Vicky Oxley on the Record Club's page is asking, what do you miss the most about the early days?
Probably having all the energy of being 20. Something I miss. But if I was suddenly put back there, I would miss having my shut up.
Oh my God, can we have a third dog on the Record Club?
My brain the way it is now,
It's steady.
taking a while to get there. Yeah, my dogs are hanging out.
They can come on if they want.
Sure.
What about you, Debbie?
What do I most remember? I think not any sort of specific night or show or anything like that, but overall, the feeling of discovery and innocence, that I had. I think Chris was probably a lot more sophisticated, but there was this feeling of I don't know, excitement and spirit, and all of the other bands sort of had it. So we sort of shared this energy, and it was kind of innocent. And I remember specifically thinking about the innocence of it.
We also have Jacob on the Record Club's page saying, hi, looking forward to the Glasgow gig. What are your favourite new bands right now?
Go for Chris.
They, I'm enthusiastic about this. There's so many female fronted bands that I like, there's Sunflower Bean, and I really like Taylor Momsen, and I like Churches, and I like Surfboard, which is our neighborhood punk band. They're great, et cetera, et cetera. Grace McKagan, Duff's daughter, is a nice performer. It's on and on.
What about you, Debbie?
Well, I I like to mention Halsey because
I was going to ask about this.
no, I think she's terrific. I'm really impressed with her, and I met her at a very early stage, you know, before she really sort of exploded, and she was very nice girl, and you know, driven. You know, I appreciate that.
She's got that.
And I just watched Lizzo's TV show over the last 2 days, and it was so great and affirmative, and she's just great. She's awesome.
I feel like whenever Lizzo's even mentioned, a big smile comes across my face. She's just like positive energy. Regarding Halsey though, Debbie, is there any, because I know you featured in her music video, but is there any chance of like a musical collaboration, do you reckon?
You know, I haven't approached her about anything like that, and she hasn't approached me, but I would not be against it. Although our genres aren't exactly, you know, the same, it could be very interesting. It could be very interesting.
I'd just like to put that out into the atmosphere. I feel like things like this have happened from the record club before, so putting it out there. Hello to Lou Rogerson as well, who's on the record club's page, saying, which Blondie song best represents your attitudes to life?
Yeah, Attack of the Giant Ants on the first album. It's a classic, and I have an affinity for monsters, giant monsters eating cities is a really nice thing. So there's that.
What about you, Debbie? I can't honestly say that there is one, you know. I sort of think of, Heart of Glass as being, you know, an all-time sort of classic, you know, song that we do. I mean, we just putting the show together for this tour. You know, it's sort of difficult because there is a lot of material to choose from, and many songs that I really love that we really couldn't do a show that's 4 hours long. So, I mean, I drop.
Yeah, I feel like that you'd need like a big break in between, wouldn't you? If there was like, I think everyone would need a collective nap in the middle so that then they could like continue. But yeah, you mentioned tour, so it's a UK-wide tour, isn't it? You're heading all over. Glasgow. Did you say it was Glasgow today?
Friday.
Friday.
Yeah.
And then whereabouts are you headed?
Oh, you want me to read the whole list?
No, just give us some, is it all over? It must be all over. A town near you.
It is. We're doing Cardiff, Brighton, London, Hull, Manchester, of course, Liverpool, Leeds, Nottingham, Birmingham, and then we travel home.
Chris, you'll have to get up on Skype on the like a projector or something in the background, wouldn't you?
Yeah, maybe. You know, I have faith they'll do a good job.
It's doable, but yeah, we'll see. One last question from David Rastor on the Record Club's page. He goes, I know it may be hard to pick one, but what gig do you remember the most? What's the most memorable gig that you've had?
There's a lot, but you know, you're in Glasgow, and the New Year's gig we did, whatever year that was, 79, 78, 79 maybe. We played, you know, at the Apollo on New Year's Eve, and it went out on the BBC, and everybody in the country watched it, and it's a great moment. And we actually did a pretty good show. When I watched the tape again, it's not that bad.
I love the surprise there.
Yeah, they had the Strathclyde Pipers.
Yeah, we had the police department bagpipers came on and played some of Sunday Girl, actually.
Yeah.
So that was,
Wow.
you know, beyond that, there's lots.
Yeah.
So many.
I mean, the Barrowland sticks out for me too.
And also, of course, if you're heading to see Debbie on tour, then loads more memories, loads more memorable gigs to be had. But that is all we have time for today. So thank you so much, Debbie, Harry, and Christine from Blondie for joining us. People at home, make sure to grab yourself a copy of Sunday Girl, limited edition from your local record shop this Saturday on Record Store Day, April the 23rd. I'm also excited to announce before we go, the winner of this week's Bowers & Wilkins Wireless Headphones Prize is... we have Lou Rogerson on the Record Club's page. So make sure to slide into the Record Club's DMs. We'll get those headphones to you. Thank you, everyone, for joining us and sending in your questions. Of course, thank you so much for being part of the Record Store Day special. Use the store locator on their website if you want to get involved in the events and all the exclusive deals this weekend. And, of course, the limited edition EP of Sunday Girl. As for the Record Club, all previous episodes are available to watch back on our YouTube page. And once again, Debbie, Harry, and Chris Stein, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having us on.
Right.